You were born in a country the world forgot. A small nation carved between mountains and silence, where the roads crack in summer and freeze in winter, and the government smiles at you from billboards while your father works 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. You are 15 years old, and you already know the only men in your neighborhood who eat well don't work for the government. They work for the Kanun. The old code, the blood code, the Albanian law that existed before any president, before any constitution, before any flag was ever raised. You don't choose the mafia. The mafia chooses you. It starts small. A man named John, your cousin's cousin, asks you to hold a bag outside a cafe for 20 minutes. He gives you more money than your father makes in a week. You don't ask what's in the bag. You already know the first rule of this world. The less you know, the longer you live. You hold the bag. You come back the next day. And just like that, you are no longer a boy from a forgotten country. You are a vrap, a runner, the lowest rank, the invisible rank, the rank where you are worth nothing and everything depends on whether you survive it. The Albanian Mafia does not call itself the Albanian Mafia. There is no dramatic name, no logo, no oath spoken in a cathedral. There is only the family, Fisi, and the unspoken understanding that once you are inside forever. As a runner, your job is simple. Move things, say nothing, trust no one. You carry packages through border towns. You deliver envelopes to men in suits who never make eye contact. You stand on street corners in cities you've never heard of, Tirana, Vlora, Shkodër, and you watch, always watching, because in this world, the men who watch are the men who survive. 6 months pass. John calls you again, but this time he doesn't ask you to hold a bag. He asks you to deliver a message, not with words. You deliver it with your fists outside a bar to a man who owes someone money. You don't feel sick afterward. That is when you know you have already changed. They give you a new title now. Koka Evogel, small head, a street soldier, a man with a knife and a phone and orders that come from somewhere above the clouds. You run a corner, you collect debts, you protect territory, and you learn the most dangerous lesson this world teaches. Violence is not the exception here, it is the currency. 2 years later, you are promoted again, not because you asked, not because you were brave, because 3 men above you disappeared and someone had to fill the space. You are now a captain who manages a crew of 12 men, runners, soldiers, drivers, men who look at you the way you once looked at John, with hunger, with calculation, with the question behind their eyes, how long before I take his place? You understand that question because you still ask it yourself every time you sit across from your boss, a man called Drago, who never raises his voice and never smiles and has been running the northern operation for 11 years. Drago teaches you 3 things. 1. Never touch the product. 2. Never sleep where you work. 3. The moment you start believing you are untouchable is the moment someone is already planning your funeral. You memorize these rules. You repeat them like prayers. 5 years inside. You are 23 years old and you have more money than you can explain to anyone. You buy your mother a house. You tell her you work in construction. She believes you, or she pretends to, and that pretending is the kindest thing she has ever done for you, because the truth would destroy her. The truth is, you have crossed 3 borders with product that destroyed families. You have ordered men beaten who couldn't pay. You have stood in a room and said nothing while things happened that you will never speak aloud for the rest of your life. You are now what the organization calls a krye, a boss of a district. You control the trafficking routes from Albania through Montenegro into Western Europe. Cocaine, weapons, people. People. That word sits in your chest like a stone. You tell yourself you don't run that operation directly. You tell yourself the orders come from above. You tell yourself everyone in this world makes compromises. But at 3 a.m., when the city is quiet and the money is counted and the phones are finally silent, you know exactly what you are. Drago is arrested on a Tuesday. By Thursday, 2 men from the inner circle are dead. By Sunday, someone you trusted, a man who ate at your table, a man whose daughter you held at her christening, tries to have you killed. He fails, but 3 of your men don't come home. And you realize, with a cold clarity that no amount of money can warm, you have reached the rank where the only people who can destroy you are the people closest to you. This is the curse of the upper circle. The Kryetar, the regional commander, sits above everyone, controls everything, touches nothing directly. You are almost there. One more step, one more betrayal to survive. You are 29 years old. You are the Kryetar now. Drago is in a prison cell in Italy. The man who tried to kill you is in the ground. The ones who remained, the loyal ones, the careful ones, the ones who understood that survival requires patience, they stand around you now. And you sit at the top of a machine that runs on silence and fear and the ancient code of the Kanun, a code that says loyalty is sacred, that blood demands blood, and that a man's word is the only thing he truly owns. You have everything. A penthouse in Tirana, connections in 3 governments, lawyers who have never lost a case, policemen who look the other way. And you have nothing. Because the view from the top of the Albanian underworld is not a view of power. It is a view of exposure. Every man below you wants your seat. Every government above you wants your head. Every deal you've made is a chain around your ankle. Every person you've ever trusted is either dead, gone, or waiting. You remember being 15, standing outside that cafe, holding a bag, thinking you were invisible. You were never invisible. They saw you the moment you said yes. That is how the machine works. It doesn't recruit with threats. It recruits with opportunity, with money, with belonging, with the intoxicating feeling that you are finally seen, finally powerful, finally free. And by the time you realize that the cage has no door, you are already inside. You look out the window of your penthouse at the city below. The same cracked roads, the same struggling families, the same billboards with smiling politicians. Nothing has changed, except you. And somewhere on a street corner below, a boy is holding a bag outside a cafe. A man is walking toward him, and the machine never stops.